Hi lovebirds! Welcome back to my channel. I know it's been an absolute hot minute since I've been on this channel, but I was kind of disappointed with my lighting, my sound, and kind of the overall feel of my videos. So I hope you guys can see the difference. And today I'll be discussing everything there is to know about brows from my perspective and from my point of view. So if you feel like watching, keep on watching. Before we're going to get into all the fun stuff, let's talk about why I am making this video. First off, if there's one thing I really don't like, it's the carved out brow on Instagram. It is a pet peeve of mine, and I hope I can change your mind into how to apply your Dipbrow pomade, your brow pencil, or whatever product you are using. Number 2. I still see a lot of people struggling with their shape, and I'm here to help. The one rule I absolutely live by is the golden ratio. And the golden ratio is a measuring standard with which you can map out your brow and fit it to any possible face if you just follow the rules correctly. Now, number 3 is very simple. I asked you guys what you would love to see on my YouTube channel, and the number 1 requested video was me talking about brows. So what is the golden ratio? The golden ratio is a measuring standard which was first developed by an ancient Greek theorist where the number pi was in central, but if you want to say it very plainly, it is just about how symmetrical your face is. So people like Queen Nefertiti, Marilyn Monroe, Grace Kelly apparently all have the golden ratio face, which is the cause of people finding them beautiful. But if you're not as symmetrical as all of the above, then there is the golden ratio measuring standard for brows. So this is a very easy step in your day-to-day makeup routine to find out what the perfect shape brow is for your face. So if you want to know where your brows have to begin, you start from the tip of the nose, go straight upwards, and this is where your brows begin. Now if you want to know where your arch is, you go from the same point over the iris of the face, and then that is where your arch will be. To end your brow, you go from the nasal fold past the corner of the eye to the end of the brow. Let's talk about tools and brushes and products. So there are 3 things, my 3 holy grail things that I absolutely need to have in my kit at all times, and that is first up the number 70 brush by Kat Von D, which is so sharp I can absolutely draw any hair stroke on there. Then secondly, Dipbrow Pomade by Anastasia Beverly Hills. Now there are 3 shades I absolutely have to have in my kit, and that is Taupe, Ebony, and Granite. And especially Granite is a favorite of mine, because as you can see, this is one of the greyest brow products I have come across so far. And for someone like me, who is ash blonde, believe it or not, I need that grey tone to accentuate my brows. The last thing I absolutely need to have is the 24-hour brow setter by Benefit Cosmetics, because it's one of the most potent brow gels I have come across. Now, if I wanted to go for a tinted brow gel, I would absolutely have to go with the Anastasia Beverly Hills one. I think it's about time to actually start doing something. So I'm going to map out my brows first off. What I usually do is I grab a little bit of product from the jar and then swipe off most of it on the cap so that there's absolutely no way you can apply too much product to the brow. To map it out, place it along the nose, and I place a tiny little dot just so I know where I have to go to. And don't worry, it's quite easily removed if you go in with a cotton swab. Now for me, it's mainly about filling in the gaps, not even creating a new shape, because most of the things I mapped out are pretty much in place already. Now if you've plugged too much, start by growing out your brow hairs. It will save you a lot of time. Let's do this in close-up. All right. Just a tiny bit more product. Now, because it's so warm outside, the product dries down a lot quicker than I'm used to. Now, you will need a spoolie to get rid of any harsh edges, but I think the bottom line of my brows is pretty much done. Now, next thing you'll do is brush down your brow hairs. We brush them down so you know and see where the gaps are in your brows. So you want to keep the pressure of the brush very, very light to just fill in some of the gaps. Where's my spoolie? There it is. Now, I don't really cut my brow hairs because I really don't like to. So what I'll do is I'll grab the brow gel, apply it with the flat-ended side first so I can distribute the product, and then brush it on through so I can really, really define the brow hairs. And then swipe the rest down like that. So it looks really nice and defined and really nice and fluffy in the front. I probably don't have to tell you that this makes the world of difference, and this is probably the only thing I really do to my brows. So fill in the gaps, make sure the shape is in place, and then don't touch it for the rest of the day, because you won't have to, because you can't even sweat it off, not even in this weather. All right, let's continue on to the other side. So I'll just grab a little bit of product on the brush, map out where to start, a little dot, and then just a few hair strokes so it's clear. Definitely don't fill it in completely. To continue on, make sure the brow hairs are brushed upwards. Keep the pressure very, very light. You might have to go in and in and in to get the amount of product you really want, but if you keep it to a very, very minimal, you'll get the most beautiful effect out of everything. Then brow gel, which is probably the easiest part of the entire makeup. Oh, I'll need the mirror for this. There you have it. This is the way I do my brows, which to me is very simple, but I can imagine that if you have to start learning this, it might be quite a challenge. What I would advise is try to flick the brush on the palm of your hand first before actually going in on your actual eyebrows, so you can get used to the way you have to flick the brush upwards, never downwards, please, don't ever do it downwards, but upwards, so you can get a little bit of a feel for the motion before going in. Alright, I think it would be nice, probably, to see what I carry in my kit as well, next to all my dip brows. This is the little pouch I carry around when I go on set, and in this little bag is obviously the dip brows, but next to that I also carry around something called Aqua by Kryolan, and this is a water-based paint, so even if I don't match exactly with a dip brow, I can always mix and match for that specific model. Now there's one thing in here that is missing. Let me see where I left it. Alright, so I've got a few dip brows, as I mentioned before. Taupe, Granite, and Ebony, because I love that shade range. Then for something that is a little bit more editorial, but if I don't have permission to dye their eyebrows or bleach them, I've got the Kat Von D Dipbrow. It's not called Dipbrow, it's called 24 Hour Super Brow, but this is one of the lightest shades ever made, and I think this release was such a fun release, so I actually carry this around if I want to give it the appearance of a bleached brow. It'll never compare, but it is a possibility. Then, let me see, I've got tons of different brow gels. Now, obviously, I took this one out because it's my favorite, and my kit one was kind of deplemished. So, a blonde one by Anastasia Beverly Hills. It's called Tinted Brow Gel Blonde. Then GIMME BROW. This is one of my absolute favorites because of the grey tone. The absolute ash tone you cannot find everywhere. So as you can see, that is pretty damn grey. So this is a favorite, and I'll need a full size of this one soon. Then the clear brow gel for if I want it more to look a little bit softer than the brow gel by Benefit. Then I've got 3 options for really brown brows, and 2 options for really brown brows, and 1 for Auburn or redheads, which is super warm and you wouldn't want to find on anyone else. Then the 2 brow gels I've got by YSL are one that is a little bit more towards the blonde, but is not blonde enough. And then one that is super nice and brown, like an actual chocolate brown. And I love the size of this applicator. It's one of the pros about these things that I think is a con on the Anastasia Beverly Hills ones. But in the end, they all work. Even if they don't, I've got a little spoolie in there. There's a hair on it. A little spoolie. Oh, I forgot one brow gel. I've got the brow gel by Kiko, which is actually black. There you go. That's actually black. Alright, so next to those products, because I don't always have the time to do a full sculpted brow like that, and sometimes it just needs to be a little bit of a fill-in or something a little bit more easy. So I've got two brow pencils by Kat Von T, and that is the dark brown and the medium brown, and I like both colors so much. So I keep these around also because of the shape. So well, that's nice. It just went back in, or I broke it. Fuck. Yeah, I must have dropped it somewhere because it's breaking. That's not cool. Meh. Alright, and then the medium brown. Same goes for this one. What is going on? Alright, not a humongous difference, but still a difference. I actually really love these pencils, so I'm kind of bummed out now. Maybe it's the heat. That could be it. It's the heat. Alright, then I've got 4 pairs of brow whizzes, and one of my spoolie broke off, but it's still one of my favorites ever. So I keep this in Auburn, Ebony, Taupe, and Granite. So I'll swatch these for you so you can actually see why I chose this shade range. And it is a very easy to apply product. It's not about creating hair strokes, it's more about creating shape. So that is Auburn. I think it's the heat because now this one's breaking too. So yay, thank you Holland for being as hot as hell. Don't tell anyone, but I'm actually pantsless in this video. Right, and then Taupe. So this is the shade range I carry around in my kit, and everything in between I can mix and match if necessary, but it's not even possible to carry a full range of the colors in your kit. So with this, I have the feeling that I can go in any direction I want to go in and be confident that there's nothing missing in my kit. I forgot. Yes, there is also always one thing that I carry around, and I haven't been using it in quite a while, but usually I keep in my kit blue bleach powder, developing fluid, and Vaseline, just to make sure that if we can bleach the brows, that I can actually do it on set. And then I keep 2 different kinds of paint, Colorstone 5 and Colorstone 7 with 6% developer, so I'll be able to actually dye them back. If you want a tutorial on that one, let me know. Maybe I can actually bleach my own brows on camera. Alright loves, I don't feel like I have anything else left to share about brows with you guys, and if I do, I'll promise I'll make a follow-up video. If you have any questions, please put them down below or send me a DM on Instagram, and I'll make sure to get back to you as soon as possible. So this was it. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching, for your time, your consideration, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye!